Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning all about pancakes. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. Long before the invention of modern mechanical refrigeration or commercial chemical leavening agents, American colonists are said to have relied on winter weather to make their breakfast pastries rise. Legend has it, early colonial cookbooks instructed home cooks to gather fresh, clean snow from outside and quickly fold it directly into their griddle cake batter just before cooking. What do you think? Could freshly fallen snow have been used as a natural rising agent? Or is this just too good to be true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is amylase. That's A-M-Y-L-A-S-E. Amylase is a noun designating a specific group of enzymes that catalyze the hydrolysis of starch into sugars, essentially breaking down complex carbohydrates into simpler molecules like maltose and glucose. When making sourdough or fermented pancake batters, amylase enzymes naturally present in the flour go to work breaking down the starches. This enzymatic breakdown provides vital food for the yeast, which converts those sugars into carbon dioxide gas to lift the batter. This process also introduces a natural, delicate sweetness to the pancake without requiring a lot of sugar. The term amylase was coined in the 19th century by French chemists combining the Greek word amylon, which translates to starch, with the standard chemical suffix ase to denote an enzyme. The Greek word amylon literally means not ground on a millstone, referencing how ancient civilizations extracted pure starch by soaking grains in water rather than milling them dry. In the culinary world, understanding amylase activity allows bakers to control dough fermentation speeds. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about pancakes. Number 1. People invented a form of pancakes thousands of years before they invented agriculture. Archeological research conducted on ancient grinding stones found at Upper Paleolithic sites across Europe, including regions in Russia, Italy, and the Czech Republic, show microscopic starch grains from wild cattails and furs. Archaeologists have determined that prehistoric humans used stone tools to grind these wild roots into flour, mixed the powder with water to form a primitive batter, and baked the mixture on flat, preheated rocks placed directly over campfire coals. This early sort of flatbread represents the structural ancestor of the modern pancake, proving that the basic concept of mixing starch with water and cooking it on a flat surface is one of humanity's oldest culinary innovations. While agriculture came about 10 to 12,000 years ago, people were eating a form of pancakes over 30,000 years ago during the Stone Age. Unfortunately, while they had a form of pancake, they didn't have maple syrup. That was discovered by Native Americans thousands of years ago, but Europeans didn't learn about it until the 16th century. Now, if you want to learn more about maple syrup, check the links in the show notes because I did an episode about that a while back. Number 2. A town in England has run a pancake race since the 15th century. The tradition of the pancake race began in Olney, Buckinghamshire, England in the year 1445 on Shrove Tuesday. For those unfamiliar with the Christian tradition, Shrove Tuesday is the day before Ash Wednesday, which kicks off the Lent season, counting down to Easter. Easter is the most important holiday in the Christian faith as it marks the resurrection of Jesus. Shrove Tuesday is also commonly referred to as Pancake Tuesday or Fat Tuesday because it's a day for indulging a bit and using up all the rich, perishable foods before the start of Lenten fasts. According to local historical records, a housewife heard the church bells ringing to signal the start of the Shrift service while she was still frying her pancakes. In her hurry to reach the church, she ran out of her house into the street while still holding her skillet and tossing the pancake to prevent it from burning. This moment of pancake panic inspired an annual competitive race that's been held for over 500 years. Today, participants have to wear a traditional apron and headscarf while running a 415-yard course to the church door. Every runner has to carry a frying pan containing a hot pancake, and they must flip that pancake 3 times during the sprint, once at the start, once during the race, and once at the finish line. Number 3. The ancient Greeks and Romans ate pancakes sweetened with honey and topped with sea salt. During the 5th century BCE, ancient Greek writers, including the poets Cratinus and Magnus, documented a popular breakfast food known as tagineus. The name derived from taginon, which was the ancient Greek word for a frying pan. These early pancakes were constructed using a simple batter of wheat flour, olive oil, curdled milk, and honey, and they were commonly cooked over open charcoal fireplaces for morning sustenance. The Romans created a similar dish that they referred to in Latin as alia dicta dulcia, which would translate to other sweet things. Roman chefs prepared these cakes on hot griddles using milk, eggs, flour, and spices, then served them hot with rich toppings of dates and warm honey. Historical texts indicate that this Roman version of the pancakes was a treat for the elites rather than a daily staple for all social classes. Number 4. The phrase flat as a pancake has been a part of the English language since at least the 16th century. The earliest recorded use of this idiomatic comparison appears in written English literature dating back to the year 1542. It was published in a translation of The Apothegms of Erasmus by Nicholas Udall, where the phrase described a physical object that had been entirely crushed. Over the subsequent centuries, authors utilized the pancake comparison in plays and essays to describe level terrains, deflated objects, and flat horizons. In 2003, 3 geographers from Texas State University and the University of Kansas decided to conduct rigorous testing to determine once and for all whether the state of Kansas was literally flat as a pancake. They compared a digital elevation map of the state of Kansas against a digital macro-topographical profile of a standard pancake purchased from a restaurant. Using a confocal laser microscope, the researchers measured the surface roughness of the pancake and compared the data ratios to the state's actual topography. The conclusion? The state of Kansas is actually flatter than a standard pancake. And our 5th and final fun fact for today: gold miners in the 1897 Klondike Gold Rush kept their pancake starters alive by sleeping with them in their blankets. During the late 19th century gold rush in the Yukon, thousands of miners relied on wild yeast sourdough starters to make daily batches of flapjacks. Commercial baking powder and yeast packets were highly susceptible to spoilage, dampness, and the extreme sub-zero northern temperatures, making fresh leavening agents hard to find. Sourdough starters utilize a symbiotic culture of wild lactobacillus bacteria and Saccharomyces exiguus yeast to ferment carbohydrates and produce carbon dioxide gas. The lactic acid produced by the bacteria lowers the pH of the batter, creating a distinctive tangy flavor profile while breaking down complex starches into easily digestible nutrients. When the acidic batter mixes with the baking soda on a hot griddle, it triggers an immediate chemical neutralization reaction that produces a massive release of carbon dioxide bubbles. This creates an exceptionally airy pancake structure without requiring modern chemical additives or refrigerated storage. In fact, the microorganisms central to the whole process would die if they freeze, so miners wore the starter crocks around their necks during the day and slept with them in their sleeping bags at night. Their extreme dedication to caring for their starters earned the Alaskan and Canadian frontiersmen the nickname sourdoughs, a term still used today to describe long-term residents of the region. Now for some news you can use. If you want to make lighter, fluffier pancakes, you might want to consider different flour types in your batter. Growing up, my mom always made the best pancakes, and she told me the key was swapping about half the standard all-purpose flour in your recipe for fine cake flour. So here's a little bit of the kitchen chemistry to understand why it works. All-purpose flour contains about 10 to 12% gluten-forming proteins, which can cross-link when mixed with liquid to create a chewy, elastic matrix. Cake flour has a lower protein content of about 7 or 8%, and it undergoes a specialized bleaching process that alters the starches. By reducing the overall gluten development in the batter, the cake flour prevents the pancakes from becoming tough. This creates a tender crumb structure that allows the leaveners to lift the batter easily into thick, fluffy discs. And one final tip, if you have the budget, I cannot recommend strongly enough using real maple syrup. I never gave it much thought for most of my life, but once I made the switch, I could never go back. True maple syrup brings the sweetness but feels lighter and just sits better in my stomach. Just be sure if you do make the switch, remember real maple syrup needs to be refrigerated after opening. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked, is it true American colonists relied on freshly fallen snow as a natural rising agent to create light and fluffy pancakes? Oddly enough, that's a fact. In the 18th and 19th centuries, before chemical leavening agents like modern baking powder were commercially manufactured or widely accessible, historical cookbooks like Miss Parola's New Cookbook documented the integration of freshly fallen snow into batters. It all boils down to trapped gases and physical state changes. The structure of snow traps thousands of tiny pockets of air and frozen water molecules. When the cold snow hits the hot griddle, the frozen pockets rapidly expand and transform into steam, lifting the heavy batter instantly and setting the internal structure before the pancake deflates. And here's a little bonus fact for today. When liquid water turns to steam, we always say it expands, but a lot of people don't realize just how much. Steam will occupy about 1,600 times the volume compared to water in its liquid state. It's this incredible expansion that allows steam to do so much work for us, whether it's causing a pancake to rise or powering the old train engines. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about pancakes with me today, and be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.